So in our live yesterday that you missed, there are 2 points that I want to bring up that you missed. One of those points is the fact that the Bible writers like to write their propaganda to make it seem like everybody respected and honored their God. And number two is the fact that to be deemed a faithful or blessed woman, that woman needs to be a lying ass liar. So in our discussion about Joshua 1 and 2, one of the things that we recognize is that they claim that this prostitute, Rahab, all of a sudden was faithful to the God of the Israelites. Now, this woman was living in Jericho. This woman was worshiping most likely El and Asherah. But because she claims, we heard about how y'all went through the Red Sea. We heard about what y'all did to Israel, to Egypt. We heard about how y'all killed Sheon and Og and all their armies. And we just died of heart and felt weak. And all the men of the city were just disheartened by it and feel like y'all just gonna kick their ass. So your God, we know he promised y'all all this land. How she know that their God promised all that land? She wouldn't know that. This is propaganda. And that type of propaganda is all throughout your Bible. Like when Abraham pimped Sarah the first time and the second time. See, the first time he pimped it to Pharaoh, an unnamed Pharaoh. The Pharaoh, once he realized that Abraham had been lying about the fact that Sarah was his wife and only claiming the half-sister part because, you know, they was incestuous because that's his half-sister, that Pharaoh said, oh, this plague has come upon us because of your God, and we got to make it right. So let me give you all this silver. Let me give you all these animals, and let me give you some slaves to make right with the Israelite God. Propaganda. And then when the same thing happened to Amalek, because, you know, Abraham was like, shit, we got a whole bunch of money from pimping you to the Pharaoh. Let me go on and pimp you to Amalek as well. And they did the same thing. And Amalek was like, oh, hell no, you're not calling me to sleep with this woman. I committed adultery against your God. So let me give you some silver. Let me give you some animals. And let me give you some of them slaves. And that's how Abraham got rich. Because they try to make it seem like everybody in the Bible who were enemies of this God, of the Israelites, respected and were in awe of this God of the Israelites. When that would be the furthest thing from the truth as far as how ancient societies functioned when it came to religion. You see, most people were henotheistic, meaning that they believed in their God, but they also accepted that your God exists as well. But they would never promote your God over their God. So this is merely just propaganda to which your Bible consistently puts in place in order to make it seem like everybody was in awe of Yahweh, and they were not. Now, the other thing is that Rahab then lied to her king, lied to the soldiers about where these spies were, and then helped the spies to escape with the promise that they would not kill them when they came back. Rahab wasn't in faith of your God, and your Bible calls her a faithful woman. She wasn't in faith of your God, in love of your God. If it was a true story, she was in fear of your God. She feared for her own life. She feared for her father, her mother, her brothers and sisters. She feared for her father's household. She was in fear of your God. But if you recognize the line of thought here, Rahab lied, but she's a faithful woman. Rebecca lied and tricked her husband, Isaac, to give Jacob the blessing. Jacob's second wife, Rachel, lied to her daddy after she stole his idols and sat on them and said, I'm on my period, so you can't touch me or anything that I've touched, so that she can keep her father's idols. His first wife, Leah, knew that she was not supposed to be Jacob's wife, lied through the whole wedding ceremonies, lied when she gave up that poom poom to Jacob so that she can become his wife, because didn't nobody want to marry her because she has a lazy eye, according to her daddy. And her daddy was like, well, you know, the first daughter has to be, you know, she has to get married first, the oldest, not the youngest. But he wound up getting both of them anyway, plus 2 slave wives. But Leah, Rachel, lying ass liars. Rebecca, lying ass liar. Abraham and Sarah, lying ass liars. Rahab, lying ass liar. You see how the Bible just promotes these women? Well, how the Bible makes women, for the most part, to be bad. Now, there's a couple of good ones in there, but they always seem to have some kind of issue. Always seems to be some old lying ass liars every time you read, or some tricksters. You know, Esther, she wanted to save her people. So how did she go save her people? The little guy who was teaching her taught her how to get that poom poom right for Xerxes, so she can have her one night with the king. Old trickster with the poom poom. But it always worked. That poom poom is undefeated. Poom poom is undefeated. And then, last but not least, certainly, and I don't know why Christians be naming their daughters Tamara, but Tamara, because she knew she was supposed to get the last son of Judah, because Judah was keeping the last son because the first two sons died, you know. One just because he was so evil and we don't know why or what the evil was. The other one because he was jizzing on the floor, which is where we get the term onanism and why they say masturbation is a sin. But she veiled herself as a temple prostitute and tricked Judah into having sex with her and disappeared after she got his little staff and some little stuff to prove that he owes her a payment. Now notice, Judah is not deemed unrighteous for having some prostitute poom poom. No, that's not why Judah said that he is less righteous than Tamara. He said he was less righteous than Tamara because he made a promise to her that he would give her his last son, but he was afraid that last son would die as well because maybe he thought she had some evil poom poom, you know, like in the story with Elnana. And Elnana thought that immortality was in her poom poom, so she kept sleeping with these men and they kept dying. This is the Akkadian story and the Sumerian story. So until she met Gilgamesh, and Gilgamesh was like, nah, I ain't going for that poom poom, that death poom poom. So, you know, I'll get rid of the Lutu tree. And in that way, you know, you can teach me, you can tell me what the secret is to immortality. So, you know, Judah thought that Tamara had that killer brother, poom poom. That's some good poom poom. I don't ever want to run into that kind of poom poom. But she thought he had some of that killer brother poom poom. So he didn't want to give up the son. But when she tricked him and she was found to be pregnant, then he all of a sudden want to kill her. But then when she showed that it was Judah who actually slept with her and got her pregnant, now she's more righteous. Not because he got some prostitute poom poom, not because he slept with his daughter-in-law, but because he didn't own up to his promise of giving his last son to her. So therefore, she was more righteous by tricking him, veiling herself as the temple prostitute. You see how they treat women? And I can go on and on about how they treat women so improperly. So women, I don't know why y'all follow this book, because they don't make y'all look good at all. Oh yeah, and by the way, the son that they had is in the line of Jesus. But y'all have a great day. And remember always, you got to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibrations.